I spend all my waking moments thinking about rock climbing. Crack climbing draws me the most, so traditional climbing, like with the gear I just showed you, trad climbing, for short, traditional trad. That's where you place your own gear. You don't have bolts to clip with carabiners. So it's a little bit more intuitive climbing. It takes a lot more knowledge to do. It's less impactful than, you know, it like leaves less of a trace than bolted climbing does in the sport climbing. You know, the only thing that you'd potentially leave is chalk from your hands, you know, to keep your hands nice and dry. That can definitely be found on the wall. I'm a very big fan of Leave No Trace. It's my biggest pet peeve is to see people breaking Leave No Trace ethic in the wilderness, because I think it's very disrespectful. You know, the wilderness is my escape from, you know, like the hustle and bustle of the real world. Like, you know, you simplify things. And climbing, you know, as stressful as climbing can be, the ultimate goal is just to simplify things and have fun and, you know, use it as your emotional outlet from the general bullshit of life. The biggest fear I have is that my ego gets in the way, thinking that, you know, I can't do something. And then you kind of like freak out sometimes when you're on the wall, and then kind of can get a little bit dangerous if you let your mental thoughts get in the way of you performing and finishing a climb. I don't know, there's always a fear of like gear failure, and if that happens you could always like deck, hit the ground. But you know, for the most part, you know, it's a very calculated sport, so like, you know, there are always fears, but they're perceived fears. Like the difference between perceived fear and actual fear in rock climbing are a lot different, and there's a lot more perceived fear than, or perceived danger, excuse me. There's a lot more perceived danger in rock climbing than actual danger. Perceived danger is like it's like the thought that you're actually in danger. So some people might get nervous, and like their perceived danger is like thinking that, oh my God, I could die. But in reality, the actual danger would be just to fall really far. You wouldn't die, but you would definitely be a little injured, a little shaken up. But it's just like a really good time. Like we're in the middle of Slade, Kentucky, and literally in the middle of nowhere. And we're gonna be here for 4 days, and you know, there's nothing to worry about except for eating pizza and climbing rocks and hanging out with a whole bunch of WVU students. So it's just a good worry-free time.